Greetings, YouTube. It's your old pal Mike Haley 7 here on this cloudy day in April. I think it's the 16th today. It's a Saturday. As you can see, the check engine light is on. The battery has gone dead twice, sitting in the garage all this time. Since October, basically. Well, I took it out a couple times. I need an oil change. I need new brakes, and obviously a new battery. So I'm dropping the bike off at a place called Team Power Sports in Garner, North Carolina. They will not be working on my bike starting today. They'll do that Tuesday. But I don't want to drop it off in the morning during the rush hour. And they're not open Sunday or Monday. So I'm going to be doing this today, which is fine because I'm not really riding because of some health problems, as you probably are aware. Thank you for checking in on me, all of you folks who have been asking. So thank you, I appreciate it. And just for road reality's sake, don't forget to push like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on that bell icon to get all the latest updates from the videos that I'm not making. Anyway. As I ride along here, I've had, health issues. I broke my leg in October, as you know, and I was getting over that. And then March came along, and I had an infection, kind of kidney, UTI going into the kidney thing, I thought. But no, it was actually gallbladder. Had to have a gallbladder ectomy, or whatever, they took it out. And I have this long-standing condition called lichen sclerosis with urethral stricture. So my urethra has shriveled up, and I was maintaining the opening. I was able to dilate it myself with a catheter, or what they call a urethral sound, occasionally, but it got so bad that as I was trying to do this, it ended up going off the urethral channel and kind of burrowing into the rest of me, in there. So I had terrible bleeding. It was pretty rough. I went tachycardic at one point when I was in the hospital from, I don't know what was going on with me. But anyway, I had a suprapubic catheter put in, and then a couple weeks later, I was able to get into the doctor to have what they call stage 1 urethroplasty, which is not really the whole urethroplasty. It's urethrostomy, where let's just pretend like this, okay? I'm going to do like the Boston metaphor. Let's say you're going from Boston out to New York State. You get on the highway in Boston, and then you take the Mass Pike all the way west to get to New York State. Well, what they did was they blocked off the Mass Pike just west of Boston, and they created a new route. They moved the rest of the road down to bring me out by Rhode Island. I don't know if you can visualize that loveliness, but the part of the urethra that was all messed up from lichen sclerosis, which is an autoimmune disorder and has no known cause and also no known cure, it didn't affect the part of my urethra nearest my bladder, nearest downtown Boston. So they rerouted to Rhode Island, which you can just imagine what's down that way, and put another catheter in. So I had 2 catheters in me for a couple of weeks. While they were, waiting for the stitches and stuff to kind of get solid, skin to heal a bit. They took out one of the catheters, the one that comes out by Rhode Island, and the other one that's up in New Hampshire, You like the metaphors here? That one's still in there until Tuesday, and then I can take that one out myself. They taught me how to do it, so I'll be doing that. And it's been rough. I mean, I've got these stitches underneath me, and I've been bleeding, and it's been very painful. Can't really walk, can't really sit upright very well. It takes a long time to heal from surgery like that, as you can imagine. So that's why I haven't been making motovlogs, because, you know, I wasn't riding. Sad. I wanted to, but I couldn't. I couldn't. Physically couldn't. I keep wanting to shift down. Oh my God, that memory. It just... Oh God. Having a Harley all those years and that collie, I'm like, I gotta shift down. Where's the clutch? Anyway. So what have I been doing? Well, I haven't been watching any motovlogs. I'm sorry. I don't watch the motovlogs because it just reminds me of what I can't do. And it's painful, I guess you could say. Galling. Depressing. It's not that I don't love y'all. I know the ones I'm subscribing to, you guys are great, but I just haven't been feeling it. So what have I been doing with myself? Well, I was sitting on the sofa for like 2-3 weeks. I was in the hospital for a week, and then I was home. I went to work a little bit, and I had my operation, and I was home again. And my knee is still not healed from the break in October, but it's getting better. You know, I was in physical therapy, but I couldn't continue that because of this other stuff. So it's just big bouillabaisse of this. As a result, sitting around watching TV and stuff, and playing around with my music playlist on my iPhone. I decided, let me look into some music, and I found this this new song, relatively new, a couple of years ago. It was the Space Age Love Song, I think they call it, by the Flock of Seagulls, where they got the band back together, sort of, and they had an orchestra playing. So it was a lot more of a production, and it was really cool. And I started looking at Flock of Seagulls stuff. I got some of their albums, or some of their songs, not the albums. And I like the guitarist for that group. It's a very unique way of playing guitar. So I was looking up that, and then it gives you suggestions in the Apple iTunes thing, saying, oh, if you like this, you might like this. And so I started going down the rabbit hole. Next thing you know, I discovered this band that was big in the 70s, in the punk scene, and then in the 80s, it was kind of like a synth pop kind of band. And they're not just one type of band. They're a band they were kind of punkish, and then they were kind of synthy-ish, 80s pop, and they're just an amazing set of musicians who have superior musicianship. And their punk roots are legit. I mean, they opened for the Ramones. They played on the same bill with Patti Smith back in 1974. And a lot of people in the punk scene didn't like them because they had a synth player, and they actually knew how to play their instruments, and they were trained. So I got into this band, and just amazing stuff. If you haven't heard of them, they're called the Stranglers. They're a UK-based band. They used to be called the Guildford Stranglers at the very beginning, and they changed to the Stranglers. And it was basically a four-piece. You had David Greenfield was the keyboard player, and he was a very dreamy kind of progressive keyboard player who actually didn't know about the Doors, but his playing is very similar to the Doors, but he never had heard of the Doors before, and he was already playing that way. Then you had Hugh Cornwell, who was the lead singer and lead guitar. You had J.J. Brunel, this British guy who's got French parenting. His name is Jean-Jacques, and he went by JJ because it pissed him off that people were making fun of him for having a Frenchy name. And it made him learn karate. He's like a 7th degree black belt in karate. And he kicks total ass, and he plays this bass guitar like, wow, it's amazing. If you haven't heard this guy's playing before, just look up the greatest hits of the Stranglers, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a song that they come out with, I think last year. It's called, let me see now, what's the name of that thing? Another Camden Afternoon. That's the name of it. Another Camden Afternoon. Absolutely stunning. Just amazing. It's an instrumental. If you want to hear other stuff, they've got Golden Brown, which is a huge one. No More Heroes is another great one. Sometimes there's another song called Sometimes. Skin Deep is another great one. And just listen to J.J. Brunel when he's playing the bass, and you'll see what I'm talking about, or you'll hear what I'm talking about. The guy is just amazing. I fell in love with this band, and I was angry that I hadn't heard of them until now. 51 years of life, more than 51 and a half years of life, and finally I discovered this band that had been around the whole time that I could have been into. Happened to me a few years ago too, with a band called Morphine. It was a Boston-based band. They played at the Middle East Cafe in Cambridge, Mass, and they were pretty big in the mid-90s when I was there. And I didn't know about them, never heard of them. I only discovered them about 3 years ago, which pissed me off as well. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with my history, but when I get into something, I get in pretty deep. And so with the band Morphine, I really got into their stuff. And as a result, I ended up buying a baritone saxophone and started taking lessons. Bari sax. That's a huge saxophone to play. But I just loved it. You go listen to Morphine, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I wanted to make that sound. That was basically it. I said, I want to make that sound too. Why do I want to make that sound? Well, because it's a good sound, but also because when I was growing up, when I was growing up, you didn't play instruments in my town. If you did, you were rich or a nerd, and they would, beat your ass if they saw you walking down the street with a musician's instrument case or anything like that. I didn't sing in the choir or like the school thing. I didn't participate in any of that artsy-fartsy stuff because, it wasn't manly enough. I didn't want to get my butt kicked. They were already trying to kick my butt just because. So when I was in my 20s and driving around in my car, when I was living in Fiji as well, I'd listen to the CDs that I brought with me, and Journey was my favorite band, and Steve Perry. And so I could sing everything that Steve Perry was singing. I could match him note for note. I didn't sound good doing it, I thought, but I used to love to sing to that. And I did that for, 20 years, I guess. I even had a great moment where I was singing while I was dancing in a concert in New Hampshire in front of the stage, and the lead singer came down and gave me the microphone, and I did half the song, Don't Stop Believin'. He liked it so much. So, my sister recently went to see Journey themselves play in Boston. Of course, they don't have Steve Perry singing anymore. And she texted me and she said, I'm watching Journey sing, and you were better in 2011 than the lead singer is right now. And I thought, damn, that's a good compliment. But the problem was, right around 2014, my voice just couldn't hit those notes the way I wanted to. I just couldn't hit them anymore. And as I got older, 2015, 16, 17, I couldn't sing to that anymore. It was just impossible. I could sing like the lowers, a couple of songs where Steve Perry sings lower, but I can't reach those notes anymore. And I was very sad about it. And kind of floundering. I had no music anymore, because when I listened to the music, I wanted to listen and make the music too. And that's when I found morphine and that baritone saxophone, and I just started getting into music making, and I thought, gee, this is a part of my life that I never really developed, an interest that I never really had, and I want to get into this big time. So I started taking lessons with this amazing teacher, and everything was going good, and I was doing duets. I even had a little channel called Macular Degenerative Musical Journey or something, and then the COVID's hit. And now I got to play on, on a Zoom meeting with him, and it just wasn't the same. And there was so much going on at school where I had to, completely revamp or redesign everything we did to match the online kind of formats that we had to use. I had no time, no energy to deal with that. So I put it away. I still have it, and I want to get back to it, but physically, it's hard for me because that thing's a 30-something pound hunk of brass, and you got to fill that cavity inside of it with air, and it takes a lot of doing. And if you're not in good enough shape, then you probably just don't want to do that. So I'm holding off until I feel stronger, more capable of hefting the thing and filling it with air. And it doesn't stop my love for music. And when I discovered this band, the Stranglers, it set me on this path. So I went and I bought myself a bass guitar and a small amp and a stand, and I'm looking at lessons on YouTube and on there's an app, the Fender app, and I've started learning how to play the bass guitar. I want to make the same noises that J.J. Brunel makes for the Stranglers, and there's a couple other songs that I really want to learn how to play the bass too. I just like that low register boom-ba-da boom-ba-da, which is kind of funny because Steve Perry was the exact opposite of that. But I can't make that noise anymore. I want to be able to make the same noise that I hear, and I cannot make the noise that Steve Perry makes or used to make. I don't think he even could now. Oh, he's like 70, so that's what I've been into. So if you tune into the channel Mike Cayley 7's musical adventure journey, something like that, you might see some of the goofy ass videos that I made of me practicing. It's just a way to document my lack of progress over the years.
Because when you start being in the band, we need to know how you started out.
You never know, I might continue it. Now here's another consideration. I got to start speeding up here because I'm going to be hitting my destination soon. So as you know, I love riding motorcycles, and I've been doing it for almost 20 years now, and I've really developed as a motorcycle rider to more technical kinds of riding. I like to push the limits of what a bike's lean angle can handle, how quickly I can corner, that kind of stuff. And I think I've reached a limit where if I wanted to progress further in this, I'd have to go to track days, and I don't have the money or the time to do that. Plus, it's dangerous. If you crash, I'm already messed up as it is. So I've got to dial back the riding technicality part. I mean, I can still ride, but I'm gonna try to slow down and not do as much crazy stuff as I'm, famous for doing, quote unquote. And I know that sucks, but you gotta accept age. And that's one factor. The other one is I have the factor V clotting disorder, a genetic mutation that causes me to clot. So I have to take a blood thinner, which makes it, you know, I've been on the blood thinner now since 2016. And if I crashed, I'd probably bleed pretty bad. And I've got 2 of the genes that make it more likely that I'll get macular degeneration when I hit 60 or so. So there's a really good chance that I'm going to be going blind in the next 9 to 10 years. So what am I going to do with myself? I was thinking when I got older and retired, I'd go into painting or photography. But if I don't have any eyeballs, I can't ride, I can't paint, I can't take pictures. What am I going to do? I'm going to play music. You don't need your eyes to play music. I mean, Stevie Wonder plays music. He doesn't have any vision, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play music and express that part of myself and learn. I mean, I was reading sheet music for a bit. And that's great, but I need to be able to play by ear because I might not have eyeballs in 10 years. So there you go. That's what I've been thinking of. That's what I've been doing. And I'm going to bid you a fond talk to you later as I go in here and drop off my bike. See ya.